Hello and welcome to my channel. Let me show you how to make these super cute heart boxes with a template that you can find in the description. I think they're super cute as a gift box, or if you're a small business owner, this could be the special packaging for your orders. Let me show you what you need. So as a main material you will need some card paper, and I'm using some craft paper here because I really like the aesthetics, but depending on your product or if you're giving a gift, depending on your gift, you can use any card paper really. You can choose like a colored paper or maybe even glitter. Go crazy here. Just make sure it's not too weak because you want your box to have a bit of stability. We're also going to have to make some lines where the box will be folded later. And in my template you're going to find the lines, so you can use the scoring tool of your plotter. But here I'm going to show you how to do this by hand. So you're going to need a ruler and some kind of scoring tool. I'm using a boning tool, but you can even use a kitchen knife. If you're wondering how that works, check out my Mother's Day card tutorial. And finally, if you're doing this on a Cricut machine like I am, then you're going to need a sticky mat. And I'm using the light grip one here because I find those work best with the card material. So let's head over to our Cricut Design space and start a new project. Then we go to Upload. So for this kind of box design, you will get the best result if you use a vector-based file type, and if you're working with a Cricut machine, that is the SVG format. If you're working with a different cutting machine, just do a quick Google and find out what file type is the best for you. So you just go and upload image, and then you drag and drop your downloaded file into this area, and you go and upload. I know I filmed this a couple of times, so I have a few copies of this in my library, but you just choose your recent upload and click on upload. Now in the Cricut Design space we're going to have to do some preparations, and the first one will be to attach the layers. So this will make sure that your cutting layer and your scoring layer are going to stay together in the making process and are not going to be separated. If you're not going to use a scoring wheel, then don't worry about this step, you can technically skip that. So this is the cutting layer, and this up here is the scoring layer. And if you're going to use your scoring tool, you're going to have to change the setting to score up here in the operations menu. But I was going to show you how to make the scoring lines manually, so you just have to hit that little eyeball icon so the scoring lines disappear, and this will also make sure it's not going to be made in the making process. This box has a base of 9 × 9 centimeters and it's 5 centimeters high. If you do wish to change this size, I'm going to link a quick video of how to change the size here. So now that we're set up, you can click on Make It. This will take you to the layout of the mat, and I'm getting a little warning up here that my mat is bigger than the standard mat, but that's fine for me because I have a bigger mat. If you need to adjust the position of your design on the mat, then you can just move it around like this. Here it's really important to make sure that your design is in the space that is covered by the paper. But for me the upper corner was really fine, so I went to continue. Next up we're gonna have to set our base material, and because I'm using the crafty paper, the medium cardstock is perfect for me. You just go to the materials and look for the material you're using. If you're using a glittery paper, of course look for the glitter paper, because the machine will tell you what kind of tools will work best for your material. And then the default pressure is perfect for me, because my blade is not too old. Next we want to prepare our mat. To do this you're going to remove the protective film from the mat, and then you're going to line up your card paper in the top left corner. And I'm not too worried about being too precise, because the Cricut machine automatically leaves like a 5mm gap. If you have a look at the mat setup, you will notice this red line that you can't cross. That is those 5mm. So now we're going to load our mat onto the machine by just feeding it through there and then pressing the load button. At this point you also want to make sure that your machine is loaded with the right tools. For me this was just the fine point blade, and that was already loaded, so I can continue by pressing the Cricut button. At this point you just want to make sure that your machine is doing its job properly and no paper is lifting anywhere or anything. If that happens, it's safer to press the stop button. When it's finished, just press the load button again to unload your mat. Now first remove the extra paper from your mat. And then to remove the box is a good idea to turn around your mat and remove the design like this. Because this way you're not going to have any weird dents or folds. Here you can see where we're going to do the scoring lines. So let's start with the horizontal lines, and I'm trying to line up the ruler with the corner on the right and the corner on the left. And the same thing on the other side, on the parallel side. So I also like to go over a couple of times because I feel like that gives me a much neater fold. And for the next line we're going to turn our ruler and try to line it up with those two corners over there. And here I like to leave out this little tap thing because I find it a bit neater, but it's also going to work if you do the line the whole way through. And then we shift our ruler over here and again try to connect those two corners. And now you're going to have to find the end of the cut on this little flap here, so it's easiest if you just lift it up and then make a little mark down here. And on the other side, got a bit fiddly. But there we go. And another mark. And now you just line up your ruler with those two marks and make a line the whole way through. And over here you want to line it up with the end of those two darts and going fairly centered through those two cutout shapes. But if it's not perfectly centered, that's okay. And now the last two lines are a bit more fiddly. Here you want to try to find that little dent in the heart and make a whole line through there. And then the next one, you just shift your ruler very slightly to find those two endpoints of the cutout. And this time, you're just going to make your scoring lines outwards. Of course, you can go all the way through again, but I just find it a bit neater to leave this part out. So now we have all our scoring lines and can start folding. Be aware at this point that whatever side you have up will be the inside of your box. So I decided to swap it here. And now I'm just literally folding all the lines that we did. And there's not really any specific order that you have to do this, just make sure that you're folding them all. Here, make sure that you have both lines folded. And next you can start assembling your box. Just fold in those two side panels and flap around the heart bit until your little tags are tacked in, those oval shaped cutouts. And there you go, close your box, you're done. It's now ready for your product or your gift or whatever you want to do with this. And isn't it so cute when you open up that tag and find a heart? So this concept also works for my other shapes that I have in the shop, like the little dog or the cat, or if you do the square size box. And if you have any questions or comments, then just drop me a comment below, and I hope you had fun with this tutorial and you learned something new. And if you did, just feel free to leave me a like and follow me for more projects